Welcome to week 5 of Overwatch Pretenders between O5 Heads and 7 Sins. I am Sly, joined by my fellow caster Strider, and we are excited for what should be a very good match between two teams at the top of the standings.
Yeah, I mean, both these teams have shown week in and week out that they can run this current meta really well. Um, and I'm wondering if we see, I'm hoping that we see Seven Sins' famous goats that they've been really strong with, and O5 Heads, really strong team synergy and communication skills that have impressed me every single week. But this should be an interesting match.
Yeah, it should be, and we've already got some interesting stuff coming out. 7 Sins going to be running the bunker here on defense.
Yeah, I mean, the bunker shot is really strong on Hollywood, and I remember them running this week 1, actually. And they did a really strong job of it. Now, the key of this comp, though, and what I have seen so many teams struggle with from every single tier, is contesting the point. If O5 Heads understands how to counter this, it wraps around and, uses the doorway to enter the bottom of the cafe to contest slowly, their diva, they really got to pocket that diva and use all their resources in contesting long enough for that Bastion to get a pick. And if they can't do that, looking like a clean sweep, and it's a really good map to get those 2 points fast.
Indeed it is. We will see O5 Heads running out on the Somber Goats they have definitely favored over the past few weeks. Just kind of scatting this out right now, looking for the comp. Going to swap out the comps even, going for a more dive-oriented thing with an Ana, Genji, get the Winston in there as well. Genji, Somber, dive, alright.
Yeah, no, what this is going to happen, what I expect to happen here is to really... Oh, and the Somber gets picked. But that doesn't really matter as the team is still regrouping. They're going to try and get their ults up. They're going to EMP and Nano Blade. I don't think we'll see much until then, as it's really hard to get these picks with a bunker comp, as the only person outside of it should be the diva. You can't one-shot a diva.
No, definitely shouldn't be. Gonna be, like you said, slowly poking up that ult percentage. Sombra trying to get in here without being seen is gonna be poked out by that spam fire though.
Yeah, XYS is just gonna wrap around, try and get a little bit of ult charge, translocate back out, and then just make the rounds. But he's getting unlucky for every single one of these picks. He's just taking some spam damage and getting himself shown. And he places his translocator in the back, which is going to take a little bit of time. But they do get the pick on the Bastion, which is huge.
And they do get that pick. The Bastion is going to be res, but the damage might be too large at this moment. The Mercy still is up, though. D.Va does get demech'd, and it looks like they may be able to survive this on the point. The Bastion is still putting that damage out. Barissa's going to drop down now to contest as well. The Bastion slept, nanoed Winston. I don't know about going for the Bastion here to start. Definitely not going to have enough damage, even if you are nano to get through that. And it looks like this should be maybe a defense here. Ults are about to start coming up here. Valkyrie is going to be popped to try to stabilize a little bit more. Maybe looking for an EMP here from XYS as they come back into the map. Unfortunately, the Riptire is probably going to stop this offense immediately.
Yeah, and the O5 Heads really took advantage of 7 Sins messing up their bunker strat and not really communicating who's going to touch and what's going to and the rotations that they needed. But they weren't able to follow through. They had the opportunity to take that fight. Maybe if they used a little bit of ults, something would have happened. But at least they are coming into this next fight with EMP and Dragon Blade. They aren't close to Nano, but you don't necessarily need that with that EMP.
7 Sins did have to pop a lot of ults there to survive, and they are going to pop the tank immediately before the EMP comes out. However, the Blade comes in along with the beat, and that is going to be 2 kills onto the Baptiste and Orisa immediately, and the Mercy kill as well, and that is going to be the first point going over to O5 Heads on their second attack.
Yeah, that was really good communication by 7 Sins, though. I was very proud of the fact that they popped that Bastion tank mode before the EMP, because the EMP does not disrupt that, and if they had a chance of winning that, it was going to be with that. The Baptiste tried to time his immortality field right, but it was a little bit off and did get caught up with the EMP, so no one lived through that, and they didn't have to focus down the immort field. But now on second point, we are going to see a double sniper comp in from 7 Sins, which has already turned out strong as Scribble gets picked off by Tegu.
It is going to be very hard to dislodge this high ground comp right now. Only having they do have the Winston and D.Va to get up there, but I don't think the Sombra is going to be doing too much initially, so they should be able to push back any offenses that come up onto this high ground.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they swap off to a sniper, as Robot Walrus does pick off the Sombra and Scribble, and both of their DPS are down, so this is definitely going to be a reset for O5 Heads. And Sombra Genji is Sombra, especially on this second point, is not that strong against a non-Goats comp, as they're all spread out and EMP won't be as tough to counter. Or as tough to, yeah, as tough to counter, as I said. But now they do have a chance to win this fight.
Yeah, seeing the opportunity, even being 2 down there, throwing in the self-destruct along with Rita Rabbit picking up the kill of his own is going to make that a 4v4 really fast. Maybe be able to pick up this Lucio as well with the Primal, is going to do so, forcing the rest of them back into spawn room, trying to deal with this Primaling Winston. Meanwhile, the D.Va gets D-Mech outside. Rita Rabbit still getting kills back here, picking up the Hanzo as well. The D.Va is not going to be able to get back into this mech, and that is going to be a, I wouldn't even say snowball point too, it's just the contest onto the point was never really there from Sevensons.
Yeah, and that was that was O5 had strong communication there, knowing the Sombra would be back in time to help clean up some kills if they were able to make space for her. And the hack on the Lucio really cemented that, as allowing the Primal Rage to finish that kill so he wouldn't be able to retreat and then contest again. Now, the Sombra has EMP again, which is a fight-winning ultimate. It matters how long Sevensons decides not to contest this point, because the farther this is, the closer and closer it's getting to one fight.
They've got to get 2 fights out of this third point.
Yeah, and if they want to, they're going to have to go pretty fast. It looks like they're not going to try. They're just going to run this. As the Sombra looks like he's going to pick off the Widow, but no, the Ana saves the Widow's butt with that friendly nade to heal him by 100.
Sombra forced out means the offense is going to come in here from 7 heads, and that well pick up the Winston early. They're still going to go in on this Blade regardless, though, is not going to be able to pick up any kills with that, and it looks like the Sevensons should be able to hold here, picking off the D.Va as well, and that is going to have to be a reset here from O5 heads.
Yeah, they were able to hold on to the EMP though, which is strong, and the Nano, and the bomb. So they can EMP bomb this, and then Nano the Winston going in. That Nano will give him Primal Rage to make this fight last a long time when combined with that Lucio beat. Now, Sevensons does have a Primal of their own, a Lucio beat to counter theirs, and a bomb in case they need to make some free space. This bomb is not going to be used for picks, as if it is, the Lucio will just the Soup Time will just counter it, and they'll push in on the bomb. So they have to be really picky of how this D.Va presses too, as the EMP comes down and gets 4.
Yeah, that does get 4, but right now they've just traded 2 for 2 here at the moment. The beat is going to come out from O5 heads, trying to make this the fight to win, but with the D.Va not in mech, it might not be able to. Does pick up the baby D.Va, picks up the McCree though, and pushing the rest of the team, pushing the rest of Sevensons into spawn is going to get some more distance on payload, forcing out the Lucio beat to get them out of there. Spawn trying to stay there as long as possible. Their Ana down means without the healing. Hammond's coming out to stall as well. The D.Va bomb trying to zone people out from point, doesn't manage to get anyone though, and it looks like that O5 heads might be able to do this if they can clean up these final kills. Lucio hacked on point, gets Boostio just to stay alive as long as possible, but this Blade should be able to clean up the rest of this. Winston does come back out to stall just a little bit longer. Can they get with more than a minute? The Hammond stall for 5 seconds? No. Is going to cap Hollywood with over a minute left. Very big.
Yeah, and now one of the things that Sombras don't get enough credit for, or Sombras with the game sense to do this, is preventing them from staggering. Hacking people out of these movement abilities like Lucio Speed Boost and Wall Run, and Hammond especially. It's really strong. And Tegu did a great job on that, hacking that Lucio multiple times so he can't heal other people to make them last longer, can't speed boost himself to make him slippery. He's as slow as a McCree without roll. And you know, that really helped them to capitalize on getting above a minute. So if this goes into overtime for Sevensons, they're not going to get a chance to win this game. It'll end up being either a tie or a loss for them. So it's key to them that they cap 3 points with positive time on the board.
Ready for battle.
Looks like they're going to possibly opt to do that with Goats. We'll see if they swap comps just like O5 has did coming out, but I think they'll be fine opting into the Goats mirror here.
Yeah, it looks like we are going to see a mirror comp here, and Sevensons has run Goats on this map predominantly. I was a little bit shocked that they didn't swap to Goats for second point, but I think knowing that Sombra was going to be an imminent threat and not very comfortable on countering it, it was a good decision by them. They didn't have that good of a time bank left, but they did get over the minute, which is not ideal. But the mirror comp, I say, might favor Sevensons here. We'll see how they play this, where they go and set up. But at the beginning, Hobbs is scouting, so they'll know that it's a mirror comp, and and see if that changes their form of defense here for O5 Heads.
Interesting to see where they hold here, whether it's going to be at the card choke or back on point. Looks like it is going to be on point, possibly. Yes, it will be.
Yeah. Yeah, especially as the Lucio is going high ground and trying to dominate that. And what a boop! Great boop onto Lovitar there, forcing him out, and he's completely out of position. And they've realized that. They're forcing the fact they can get a pick here and possibly... Oh no! OGPNS does get Scribble.
That's a lot of miscommunication there, and that is going to be the pick early, but Sloth swinging a little bit too much is going to be picked off, and a nice fire strike onto the Discord of Lucio is going to take them out, and that is going to be a saved fight here from O5 Heads.
Yeah, Seven Sins got really cocky after that pick. You know, not pushing back and resetting, knowing that the spawn is so far away that they can engage, recouped and rethought out, and have their plan thought out. Instead, they just go in and lose 3 people, right?
You definitely don't
see
have to
a
rush
situation
that.
like that, you back out, you try and figure out, all right, so let's attack this 6v5 instead of trying to go in 1-on-6.
Yeah, definitely don't have to rush that. Discord still hurts a lot if you're a Reinhardt. Poking here at the front, Zarya Bubbles exchange. It's not too much damage lasting on either Reinhardt, though. Discorded on Sloth, and that is going to be going down again, followed up by the Shattered. Clean sweep right there, and possibly a stagger onto the D.Va well here at the end.
Yeah, and the stagger is going to be really massive here. They won't have many fights left. Let's see if this D.Va opts in to swap, or is he too close to mech? He's definitely too close to mech. He's just going to try and shoot and get that mech a little bit faster. But this is a complete... this next fight should be even more of a domination for O5 Heads, as they have 5 ultimates. They have everything but Shatter, and by the end of this fight, I guarantee they'll have Shatter. I expect them to rally in at least to make sure this fight wins pretty fast, as Eagles automatically picks up the Larvitar. Gives him his mech back, but at the cost of 10 seconds.
And they're going to aggro this, Reinhardt goes down, and this just is quickly spiraling out of control. If the ult rotation is good here from O5 Heads, this can very easily be a full hold.
Yeah, that's going to be a minute stagger between the end of the fight before that and the beginning of this next fight. They are up to 6. They have to figure out what they're going to do, what they're going to engage with, as they don't even have Graviton. O5 Heads now has 6 ultimates to work with. They were able to win that fight with 0 ultimates, which is the worst case scenario for Sevens.
Rally's going to be exchanged here on the start. Bubbles traded as well. Sloth trying to get on the point here. The grab is going to come out, catching a few. Trans forced out. The charge does not connect from Reader Rabbit, and that is going to be the grab exchange here. The grabs comes out from 7 Cents. The bomb is going to get 3 there, and that should be the fight here for 7 Cents, capping what might have been their last good fight.
Yeah, I mean, that was a perfect bomb placement right there. I think to be honest, I think it just got unlucky. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure I saw that bomb get shattered right before that. It looked like it was going to go by, which would have been a way better opportunity for O5 Heads to survive that. But the shatter was just a little bit late and cost them that fight. They do only have 3 minutes to capture second point, and every single one of them had close spawns, so they will go ahead and fight on this corner, which is very defensive favored. So let's see what this Lucio can do to hopefully boop their Reinhardt into position to get a pick, as he does miss the boop. Sadly, he's going for another one.
Sloth definitely look for some sort of shatter here. They are going to force the B as Sloth goes down very low. That pick comes off before the B comes out from O5 Heads, and they should be able to get some nice progress on the payload if they can go back to it. They aren't going to have to give up their offensive positioning here there. But we'll get maybe a third of the way through point 2 here before Scribble gets back.
Yeah, that was definitely not the best case scenario for 7 Cents. I mean, they had to use, their Lucio ult to go in, knowing that Tegu is close to that grab. The only thing they have to defend it is Transcendence, and Hobbs, apologies, Lovitar is close to the bomb, which they can use, but it doesn't look like they need it, as O5 Heads just go ahead and clean through.
O5 Heads is definitely getting the upper hand on all of these non-ult fights. Their regular GOATS play seems to be a lot better than 7 Sins right now, getting the damage where it needs to be to get those picks off.
Yeah, and they do have a 5-4 ult charge advantage here as Levitar does die, which is another 10 seconds off the clock. Looks like they're going to engage with about a minute 30 seconds. But this cart, remember, if you're off of the cart, it keeps pushing back and back and back, which gives O5 Heads even more time after this team fight to defend. They're definitely in 2, if not 3 fight territory for this point, and they only have a minute and 30 seconds to win all 3 of them.
Rally is going to have to be popped as the aggressiveness comes out from O5 Heads. The grab comes in, answered by the trans. Does the bomb get any? Will pick up the Zarya, and that should be the fight if O5 Heads play very patiently here. Robot should go down as well, while the rest of Seven Sins gets forced back.
Yeah, that was the best possible pick for the bomb, is that Zarya. They did have grab and high charge at the point. And, you know, preventing Tegu from possibly bringing that fight back won them that fight. And now, even to the next fight, right, their Zarya has grab, but or Seven Sins Zarya has grab, but XYS has high charge and 50% to grab already after using right there. So not only do they have to worry about the grab and the Transcendence to counter that, they also have beat to counter that, and a high charge Zarya to get grab to possibly match it.
Rabbit gonna try to get a cheeky grab, cheeky shatter there as the grab comes out. Sloth ready for that though, trading ults in the chaos here. Can any discorded target be focused down? Sloth will be focused down from the discorded, and it looks like that this should be the full hold here for O5 Heads at the beginning of point 2. Rita Rabbit going down though, getting a little bit too aggressive, not playing patient in that 6v5 means that it looks like Seven Sins will have the chance here for an OT push through point B.
Yeah, and that was miscommunication by O5 Heads. The reason they lost first point as well, right? They had a Brig in the middle of their team, and they didn't call that out in time. And Soup did get stunned, forcing that Reinhardt to, you know, give up his own life, as he was pushed forward, and the speed boost was not there because of the stun. And they really took advantage of that, and they used both grabs
Very
here.
aggressive grab coming out. The counter grab is going to counter, but the trans pop by Seven Sins is not going to be a good look here as the bomb comes out. The Brigitte getting killed in the aftermath. Meanwhile, though, Seven Sins is picking up 2 kills here off of a very well-placed shatter. And it looks like they might be able to keep this point going in OT. Got to get the Zaryas. Both Zaryas discorded. Who's going to get the first kill here? The big damage dealer, and it will be Seven Sins picking up the Zarya kill. Baby Diva on point, stalling out along with the 2 supports. Is going to stay down for a little bit. Robot coming back in on the Hammond to get this going. That might end up being costly to them if O5 Heads will fall back and regroup. Looks like Rita Rabbit is going to be able to get out with his life. And now with this Hammond swap off of the Brigitte, maybe O5 Heads can get a contest. It doesn't look like they'll be able to. The Zen is still coming back. They're going to try here. Diva does touch the point just in time. They beat to get onto point. Maybe get the focus onto Sloth. They do get the focus on the Sloth. Is there any follow-up for this grab? It doesn't look like the bomb's going to be placed well enough. They do get the Lucio as well, though. The beat comes out from Seven Sins to try to keep holding this. They are picking up the kills. Reinhardt is discorded. Will they be able to get the kill? But not before the trans comes out, however. And the Diva will be demeched along with the grab, but answered by the trans. We got the bombs on cart as well, trying to force O5 Heads off, and that will be a key part in picking up the Reinhardt. And it looks like the spawns may be coming in. It will not be coming in. Can they keep on point while this bomb is out? Diva will have to sacrifice her mech to do so, and it looks like just in the end they will be able to hold at the end of point B.
Yeah, that was a maniac of a fight, and I think that fight came down to Seven Sins not having as much heals as O5 Heads. They had a lot more sustainability because Seven Sins, you know, gave in to the stall character Hammond instead of the Brigitte. So instead of having what normally is 2 saving grace abilities in the Zarya bubble and the armor pack was missing for them, and it looked like it cost them. A little bit of miscommunication helped as well, but O5 Heads ended up really working together with that Transcendence to get the Diva mech back. Was the biggest play they could have done, and they did it to perfection.
Very well played by O5 Heads there, taking advantage of that. Might have been that panic swap onto the Hammond that probably wasn't needed to win the penultimate fight there in the middle of streets.
Yeah. Next map will be Control, which is either going to be Ilios or Oasis. It's Seven Sins' pick. If they go to both, I expect us to see a lot of goats. Maybe Bunker on Ilios well, but I wouldn't expect much else from Ryan Goats, which looks to be O5 Head's advantage. I mean, I talked up Seven Sins a little bit because I've seen them really dominate with that comp, but O5 Head's coming out swinging from that map one. XYS has been a great Zarya, really utilizing that high charge that they have and getting those grabs on board with the Seven Sins Zarya even after he just used it a few times. It was really well played by them. And Scribble's Brigitte has been strong. The armor packs have been keeping Rita Rabbit alive just enough to aid XYS in getting those grabs. And it seems to be that they're playing around their Zarya, and it's working out pretty well. I wonder if that will continue throughout the game, or Seven Sins is figuring out how to counter that and turns their tables on O5 Heads by taking the second map.
Yeah, O5 has definitely in the ult fights it seems to be more even, but in the vanilla fights here, it definitely seemed like O5 Heads had the upper hands in their cooldown management and where to place all the key abilities to. Sloth had a lot of first deaths there in that second round of Hollywood.
Yes, he did, and that really made Seven Sins suffer. But even after that first death, they had a lot of bright spots in fights that they may not have won, and a lot of bright spots that ended up in these fight victories when they were down 5-6, and coming out with a victory like first point, and the first fight went on second on the streets phase. I mean, O5 Heads, once they get a pick and once things start to look their way, they can't stop communicating after that. That's when communication is key. Because if you stop communicating mid-fight, the other team will realize that and then just beat you with comms. You want to take these advantages and run with it. You don't want to make it so the other team has a sliver of a chance to win these 5v6s, especially when it comes to goats, as every hero is just as important as the next.
Once you have the 6v5, you should be able to lock out the other team every time in goats.
Yeah. I just want to see a little bit more communication when it comes to abilities, right? The Brig stuns from Seven Sins have been really strong in O5 Heads. That's how they won the first fight on Streets phase. They stunned that Lucio and they killed the Reinhardt because he didn't have speed boost. Small things like that need to continue to happen for them if they do want to pull off this. And O5 Heads got to start doing that themselves. Looks like they're coming out swinging with the talent of this team, which is a lot. The talent won't get you everywhere. So we'll figure out what happens on Ilios as both teams are being asked if they would like to swap anyone in and out, as I'm guessing their coaches and team captains are currently talking to them about what they need to do.
Ilios definitely has a lot more opportunity for some different comps here. Well, definitely going to see something a little bit different, if not just Winston goats instead. Probably have the goats on the lighthouse, and well, you could run goats everywhere still regardless, but it does have opportunities for other comps.
Yeah, I would love to see a Pharah here. I think Pharah has a lot of potential, especially in this elo. When you get down to below Masters, Pharah is a really strong hero. The spam damage is a lot more than people can handle, and I wonder if these teams have realized that and practiced it. I wouldn't be surprised if one of them comes out with that Hammond comp that we just saw, or a Hammond comp like the Hammond we just saw from Seven Sins. Even though that was their Brigitte player playing Hammond, and I don't think that'd be the case if they were running a quad DPS or triple DPS.
That was very much more of a panic swap there instead of something.
Yeah, definitely.
Want to do.
It would be interesting to see, some non-goats comps here. But to be honest, personally, I think I'm expecting them to just run goats as both teams are setting up. Looks like, yeah, I expect O5 Heads to take this again. I think they've been really good in initial fights, and in control points, initial fights are huge.
They are everything.
Getting those non-ultimate fights off gives you such an advantage in both position and ult charge, and those are the two biggest things when it comes to goats. So if Seven Sins wants to truly counter that, they might have to swap off their comps. Unless they have enough confidence on control to win these open fights.
They did look pretty good for a moment there on the double sniper on the defense of Hollywood, but little miscommunication turned a 6v4 into a loss. So they definitely have the ability to do something else, just need to tighten it up a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. I'd love to see those double snipers again, as they were pretty consistent until they went down after those 3 picks each. Now, O5 heads, I'm not very keen on everyone on this team. But I know Rita Rabbit is a really strong Reinhardt, and I would expect him to keep playing this, and I hope we see a little bit more from him in the future. As I've seen him get some massive shatters off, and can really toy with the other Reinhardt's head. So for a Reinhardt-based map, which Ilios is definitely not, I would, to be honest, expect Seven Sins to go with Tranquil, who is a really strong Reinhardt v Reinhardt player. Now, the one thing I do want to see from O5 heads in this is taking advantage of their advantages. If they win these opening fights, then get into position where they can fight it out, right? If they're on Ilios Lighthouse, right, get on that high ground, or at least put the Lucio on that high ground to boot them off. As the game is going to go ahead and start up.
All right. Starting out on Ruins here. Historically a Widow map, but for now it is definitely the land of goats.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect anything other than goats here unless Seven Sins does opt to go for this double sniper comp. Or just maybe a sniper Genji comp. A Widow Genji comp. Widow can be useful here, especially if you outplay the other team's shot caller, which is rare in higher tier games. I'm not quite sure about in Pretenders if that's historically popular, but does look like we're about to see the comps, and they are flashing the double sniper comp here with a Mercy, which is to be expected for a double sniper comp. So I actually expect them to run out with the Pharah. Yeah, okay, so this comp I can get
that you wanted.
Yeah, just what I wanted. Not on the map I wanted it. I wouldn't run Pharah on this map due to the threat of a Widowmaker, and if O5 heads does opt to swap to that Widow, the Pharah's going to be hard as they do swap to Somber Goats. It looks like we are going to get a mirror here.
Not
except
quite.
for
We
Richie
do have
on
the
Zen
Ana
and
on one
Pianist
side
on.
and the Zen on the other. Go. It's going to be all about getting those purples out. That's what this kind of mirror comes down to.
Yeah, purples will outdo Discord orbs any day if you truly focus them down. I mean, the lack of healing is just such a massive disadvantage. As both teams will collapse in on each other on the point, and Sloth is going to be the first one to get taken down, so it looks like O5 heads is going to start this game off pretty strong.
Gets a little caught out there, even maybe a little bit body blocked in the middle of O5 heads there, and it's going to be quickly focused down. Did not see any purples coming out. Don't know if it got eaten by Haas, but that is what they should be looking for this whole time, is just to eat those nades.
Yeah, and I opt to see what O5 heads does. XYS has to, kick Teguci's ass on the Sombra when it comes to EMP, right? Getting that EMP up first is going to be so huge on this map. When you do have that Sombra v Sombra. Now Richie and Cat Dad do get
solo kill on the Richie. I don't know about that one. Scribble is going to pick up the return dead on Cat Dad, and another kill onto Robot with the 5v4 for O5 heads. Do need to get back on the point. They will, but Scribble being focused down after getting hacked isn't maybe going to die here in the very end. Nope, the Inspire healing is going to be a little bit too much. The Ana going down as well for 7 Sins. This should be the fight going over to O5 heads without that healing from the Ana. Going to force out the bomb. 7 Sins thinking they have a shot here to flip the point, but Richie coming back here as they were kicked off first. Focusing down here, O5 has have to commit trans to keep the fight in their favor here. Reader Rabbit by himself on the point, looking for some focus. Going to focus the D.Va down first. Reader forced to hop out, and it is going to be the point still staying in O5 heads control.
Yeah, I mean, that fight the entire time was in O5 heads control, and this is coming down to one fight territory now. I truly believe that, if they have this is gonna be the last fight. And Tegu and XYS are both having EMPs, so it matters, who one of them EMPs and when. XYS has to do this fast. He does have positioning advantage with his team pushed up. He gets one, maybe two people, including the Sombra. It's gonna be a clean sweep.
XYS gets 2, meanwhile Tegu gets 3. However, XYS's did come out first, so it will be 2 kills picked off of that. Sloth not able to primal and that is going to be the rest of Seven Sins forced onto point. D.Va is going to get D-Mech very quickly from the focus. Brigida gets hacked out, and this should be this going over to O5 Heads, just cleaning up the final kills and a Primal Linguist.
Yeah, it all comes down to, XYS using that EMP first and getting those opening 2 picks, right? That really opened up the 6v4, and when you have a when you have a Zenyatta with a Discord Orb, and all he has to do is say blank is marked. Once you have that and the people shoot him, they die one by one really fast, really quickly, and there's nothing much Seven Sins can do except for hope that they morbidly screw up and they get a 4-man kill. But that was a 100-0 win for O5 Heads. Now we're on to Lighthouse, and XYS is showing off the Doomfist right now.
Doomfist Goat, replacing the Zarya.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure how I feel about this. He's going back to Zarya.
There we go.
Right, so it looks like we will get to see Zingo's v Zingo's mirror. And you gotta say that O5 Heads has the advantage here, as they've been really good with these opening fights, and even more on control than on hybrid. Opening fights have such an effect, and this is a perfect example of why. And I hope we get to see them really utilize their opening fight skills right now.
Definitely need to see Seven Sins make some sort of adjustment here in the opening fight. Zarya Bubbles changed. That boop is absolutely huge and will be able to pick up Rita Rabbit and XYS, and that is going to be the fight easily going over to Seven Sins here. Hobbs jumping off the map after getting demeched. Fortunately, that was a
massive displacement there.
That was huge.
That was great. I'm extremely proud of Seven Sins to organize that, knowing what they have to do, knowing what the win condition is. Whoever called that did a great job right then. Now they have positioning advantage, right? They have this. They have Libertar on high ground. This is exactly what they want. They want this threat from multiple directions, which Goats normally doesn't do, as he is currently now behind, trying to poop them in. O5 Heads just has to try and pick, and they get it.
They do. O5 Heads do get the pick. Even the D-Mech, the Shatter is going to come in to try to save the fight, but I don't believe that is going to be enough just getting the D.Va. It will force out the Trans, though, from O5 Heads to try and clean up the rest of this fight. The D.Va does remech from Seven Sins, and this might be a chance here. Nope, the grab does get eaten. Hobbs with the great eat there. Gonna bomb as well on point. Maybe throwing a little too many ults in here. Not needing to clean up, and it looks like somehow Seven Sins is turning this around. I'm not quite sure how that happened. Tegu putting out a ton of damage after whiffing that grab, and they are going to keep that point somehow.
Yeah, I mean, once they forced out the Trans, I guarantee Tugu was sitting in his chair smiling like, all right, next fight, they're screwed. And then he goes ahead and throws it. It does get eaten, but, that, I guess that, freaked them out enough that they gave time for Seven Sins to come back, regroup, and re-engage that fight. And, right now, they're on one-fight territory. If O5 Heads doesn't win this, it looks to be over. It's Goats fights last a long time, and they only have 25 seconds.
Huge displacement, but that is going to be countered by the Shatter. Sloth's only out. He throws it out and is able to shatter all of Seven Sins, and that will be the point flipping over.
I'd like to apologize to Seven Sins for caster cursing that. That was an extremely fast fight, even if it wasn't Goats v Goats. And it does look like, if Seven Sins wins this next fight, 15 seconds is enough time to go back and regroup if they die on point. So the caster curse really coming in handy there for Seven Sins. For O5 Heads, as Scribble does get the pick off.
Yeah, Sloth once again with the Discord being focused on very quickly to start these fights, and not being able to force any ults out besides the rally is going to hurt Seven Sins here.
Yeah, it's going to be a solid 45-50% off the clock there between those two fights. Now, if you're Seven Sins, you have to be happy with your chances in this next fight, as you do have 6 ultimates, knowing that they just used rally. And if they know that Hobbs doesn't have mech, they can, take advantage and de-mech Hobbs. You have a Baby D.Va permanent there. They do get the Graviton out, and it worked.
Both support ults do have to come out from O5 Heads to live there. Trading Shatters is going to mean that nothing's going to happen from that. The beat will come out trying to block the bomb here. That boop! Oh, that was huge. Getting 3 off that displacement on the Reinhardt, and O5 Heads is going to win that fight.
Yeah, Rita Rabbit, that was a massive charge. Not going for a pin necessarily, but just booping them away so the shield is can't block any damage, and it gets the 2 people who booped and 1 person behind them The two people grouping the Brig and the Reinhardt. But it looks like, you know, O5, this is a one-fight territory now. I mean, maybe if O5 heads lose this, they have a chance to recontest. But right now,
force in
7
with
has
the
to win this
trans
fight, or
here.
else
Need some
game's
sort of
over.
pick here, trying to focus down Rabbit, and they will focus down Rabbit through the trans. They have to clean up the rest of this fight now. Do have to make this on point, however. Will the focus be there? This rallying Brig making it very difficult. XYS not in the rally for a little bit, though, means that they will go down. The trans coming out from Richie is going to keep the rest of them on point. The Shatter getting 2 should be able to pick up a kill off that. The D.Va does get demeched off of it, and this should be 7sins cleaning up here. If they don't throw anything away, the bomb is going to stop Rita Rabbit trying to be the hero with that Shatter on point, and they will cap this point. They won't cap this point as the beat comes in to try to keep stalling this, as XYS is in here on the Hammond now. And they will pick up 2 kills here, a boop off from the Hammond as well, but the grab will be able to clean up the rest of O5's here, heads here. The D.Va D-Mech need a kill before he gets back in mech, and they will. The robot picking up the kill onto XYS as well on the Hammond, and now O5 heads have to regroup very quickly.
Yeah, I'm not sure they realized that if they had just died on point and not swapped, they could have recontested with a full goats comp. But now they just look discombobulated, a little shocked that 7sins was able to take that back. And now they're, you know, engaged one at a time, and it's not looking good. It looked like the last fight was the last one, when it very well could not have been. But this is looking perfectly good for 7sins. And this was really, really good engage. Opening engage, and O5 heads threw away so many ults that they could have used to recontest, like the Lucio speed boost, or the Lucio beat. And, you know, they kind of shot themselves in their own foot after that.
O5 heads definitely looking a little bit more disorganized on this second point here, not knowing really how to come back in on 7 heads. Definitely the ult economy was pretty shaky that round.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely showed their vulnerability right there, and I feel like 7sins knows what they did right. You know, getting in their heads, forcing them to make bad decisions. And I hope we get to see them continue this for this map and possibly pick up the second map and making this series tied 1-1, as they are going to, you know, show the triple tank McCree strat with Orisa, Hog, and D.Va on Ilios well, which is very interesting, as Hog is definitely not the strongest hero, but can be used really well in coordinates with the Orisa and the giant gaping hole that he can hook players into.
Both teams liking the Hogs here. The only difference is going to be that McCree for O5 heads instead of the third tank from 7sins.
Yeah, well, O5 heads is running a Torbjorn.
Torbjorn, that one.
So this is Scribble on Torbjorn. It provides a lot of extra shield break. Except for the fact that 7sins has a lot of extra shield, and just as much pick potential. And they already got one. They got Scribble, which is the majority of the pick, and it looks like, or not.
Everyone in the hole. Everyone.
Yep, everyone in the hole. I'm not sure they understand how to hook either team, as all of them have failed so far. As the point is currently nobody's, as Scribble makes a return and is continually try pull people in the hole. Sloth is, except his ults aren't necessarily getting there.
Now the Torb turret's here. They will be able to pick off Soup Time, though. We've got the Nano Torb trying to come in and make something happen, but it's really hard to walk all the way across this point without getting bursted out. Will be forced back very quickly. High Noon to try and focus 7sins off the point. Won't be able to pick up off anyone there, and this is what I expect from the Orisa v Orisa on this point. This is going to be quite a lot
I would
here.
expect a little bit more, to be honest. I mean, the reason you run Orisa Hog is for those whole hook combos against that Orisa, right? Just like what he tried to do with the Hog Sawn opportunity, that was smart. Looks like 7sins have figured out, you know, to utilize his holds a little bit more than they have, and going for those hooks, as looks like what they were trying to do, as the Hog is not necessarily part of that. They do cap the point, though, so as long as this fight goes on, it's free point percentage for 7sins, and O5 had smartly back up and died to not give up more percentage.
Very smart disengage there. That was a little bit of a clown fiesta there for the first fight, only now ticking up the percentage here, and they will swap onto the Winston Goat to try and break this bunker.
Yeah, no, Winston Goats is going to be really strong here, as the 3 tanks is going to make it a lot harder for 7sins to defend, as they would normally. McCree will be a massive help here if he can get a huge flashbang kill, but it doesn't look like that happened. The Winston
Oh.
dove in alone, and McCree just wasn't paying attention.
The purple there almost taking out some of Seven Sins, but the beat will save them for a little bit. However, the rest of the damage and the goat's strength is too much for Seven Sins, and now they will be forced to swap out the bunker to retaliate in turn on their own goats.
Yeah, they definitely got to swap up after that. They had a perfect opportunity to kill that Winston as he dove in a little bit before he needed to. Now we are watching Winston Goats v Ryan Goats. Winston Goats has the Ana, Ryan Goats has the Zen here. Now this is going to be under Reader Rabbit's wing right now. The reason Winston Goats is really strong right now against Ryan Goats is because he does a lot of damage with that armor nerf in the most recent live patch. Or the most recent hero change live patch, I should say. Allowed him to do a lot more damage with the armor to get that ultimate fast. To disrupt, but it doesn't look like they need it as they're just running Seven Sins down and staggering them one by one. The Zin's going to get killed with 44%. That's going to leave at least 60% left for O5 heads.
Yeah, an elongated fight should bring O5 heads up to near 99% here. Robot getting picked off really early in that fight. I'm not quite sure how that happened. Maybe got Zen volleyed early, but gonna need Seven Sins a lot of times through this series. Losing one early is gonna need to shore up that aggressiveness onto the point to start here. Reader Rabbit getting a bunch of cleave damage here to start. Does have the ult to cause a bunch of disruption if he chooses to do so. Trying to wait out this rally, but they don't have a lot of time to burn. The bomb's gonna come into this corridor. Isn't able to pick up anybody. However, Reader Rabbit also popping the ult here, and the tanks will be going down for Seven Sins here off of enough of that pressure separating the team, and this will be possibly the round for O5 head. Seven Sins needs to regroup fast.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Reader Rabbit using that Primal Rage to disrupt. That is why Hammond is so strong against Goats, is because disrupting that comp is so incredibly powerful, forcing them away from each other, and Winston ult is another perfect opportunity to do that. And like I highlighted before with the armor nerfs, Winston can get that ult really fast as he just did. He got 40% at the beginning of the fight, pressed Q, and just won the fight for them. That was really smart and really good read by Reader Rabbit. As he is going to come out with play of the game here, and deservingly so.
Getting a few environmental kills here, I think. Should be.
Yeah. Or just havoc
Maybe,
in the
or
building.
not. No, just having
you know that place you don't want to be when Winston has Primal? Yeah, that.
Yeah, right in the corner in the enclosed area. Well, that will be O5 heads going up 2-0 in this series. Seven Sins showing a little bit of life here, but they'll definitely need to make some big adjustments here to make the reverse sweep happen.
Yeah, they have to figure out what worked for them for that that one map, and how to recreate that for Assault, which will be either Paris or Volskaya. I am looking forward to how this game will end. I feel like Seven Sins has an opportunity to come back here, possibly force us to a game 5, but right now O5 heads up 2-0, have yet to lose all but one half or one round, and looking strong continuously. And Reader Rabbit really showing his true main tank colors during that Ilios game. But right now we do have halftime.
So we'll see you guys on the other side of this break and see if Seven Sins can make something happen.
Yep.
Welcome back, everyone, to the second half of this match between O5 Heads and Seven Sins. O5 Heads up 2-0 going into this. Seven Sins picking to Volskaya here. And what do you think they're looking for here on this map now?
I want to say that Seven Sins is going to come out swinging with a strange comp. I've seen variations on everything on this map as the game is paused. I've seen people run Soldier. I've seen, to be honest, it's not that bad of an idea. If you're expecting Winston Goats, if you're expecting Ryan Goats, please don't run Soldier because he does no damage. But I probably will see Goats v Goats, just a mirror comp, as we've seen constantly. Now we have lost the OG pianist from Seven Sins, running away from Volskaya because apparently Russia's too cold for him. I think that's my conclusion. But Sly, what do you expect to see here?
I mean, I like you said, in the end, as much as we'd like to see something maybe different from Seven Sins, try something new against O5 Heads, I think they will stick to the Goats comp here. They did show a little bit of life on it on the Lighthouse map on Ilios, and they just have to win these first vanilla fights. If they can do that, then they'll be able to definitely take this map. But it's gonna all come down to that, I believe.
Yeah, they need to come in with a positioning game plan like they did on Lighthouse. That's the reason they won it. It worked really well for them. Now O5 Heads needs to continue their reign right now. They can't, let loose because I feel like they know that Seven Sins has the ability to come out. And another reason I think that Reinhardt v Reinhardt Goats might favor Seven Sins a little bit more now is I'm aware that Tranquil is a really strong Reinhardt v Reinhardt player. He might be the only player in the game that I'm truly familiar with. But yeah, he is really good at that. And reading the other Reinhardt, kind of toying with him a little bit. So I wonder if he can take advantage of Rita Rabbits a little bit more than Robot Walrus did, and come out and hopefully get to the point where they can take this map off. They can take a few points off of this, and hopefully next two maps bring it to that 7th game. But the rest of Seven Sins has to step up too, right? I mean, no one can do this by themselves. Overwatch is a team game, and Seven Sins can't forget that. Neither can O5 Heads. O5 Heads was pretty bad at communicating mid-fights throughout Hollywood and Ilios, and it showed. That was their vulnerability. Seven Sins has to, bounce on that and say, "Hi, we're gonna start communicating better than you. So if you're gonna beat us, you got to do it with raw talent."
Yeah, Seven Sins just has to get into the mid fights without getting picked off to start to take advantage of that miscommunication that we've seen from O5 Heads so far. They can get into the fights and actually start making something happen instead of getting picked off to start like they have over and over again this whole series. They will have a very good chance to bring this back.
Yeah. Now, one thing I do want to see more of from both teams is old combos. Old combos, old combos, old combos. You hear it so many times when watching Goats in the Overwatch League or Contenders or Open Division. You hear it so many times from any of your coaches, right? These old combos are massive, and we haven't seen much of them. I think we've seen a few grav bombs every once in a while.
We have,
But
I think,
besides
maybe
that,
two or
we
three
haven't seen
fights.
much. Support ultimates also need to be used more effectively by both teams. And if one team can do it and the other one can't, I can see it going, swapping to Seven Sins way this game, or just, seeing O5 Heads completely dominate Seven Sins if they start utilizing support ultimates a little bit more. Using Transcendence to get first fight picks is not that strong of an idea, as, you're down 7-6, but they have a graviton that you don't have a Transcendence to counter with. Just might as well call it a lost fight. So it all comes down to, what teams can fix more mistakes, and Seven Sins has to fix more mistakes than O5 Heads, because right now it looks like O5 Heads is making a lot less mistakes than their opponents, and it's showing in this 2-0 score.
Yep, O5 Heads playing the start of these
Those
fights
look
a
like
little bit more.
Pianist is back.
Yep, Pianist is
The
back
game
now.
is going to start up very soon. Once both teams are ready, it looks like Pianist has put on a coat for Volskaya, so he's ready and won't freeze to death.
Got to keep those robot body parts warm.
Alright, the game is starting as both teams are ready.
Traveling to Volskaya Industries.
Yeah, I'm expecting them to both start off with Goats. To be honest, I'm going to expect them to neither of them disconnect.
point A would be the point to do something a little bit different here, possibly, but don't expect to see that happen. Yep, should just be the Zen Goat's mirror here. We've talked that to death, and would be quite the delightful surprise to not see it, but more than likely it will be so.
Yeah, yeah. To be honest, I mean, seeing this Rhine Goat setup is a possibility. Another possibility for defense, believe it or not, is a double spam comp. I've seen it be run before, and it looks pretty strong on the books, and it has looked strong in practice. I know, especially for Masters tier games. I'm not 100% sure about that, but it looks like Tranquil is going to be on the Winston to lead the Winston Goats comp with a Zenyatta in for 7 sins, as I am 100% sure that 05 Heads is not going to run that.
No, definitely not going to run that. We should roll out onto the Rhine Goats here. We'll have their favored Sombra Goats here, looks like.
Yeah, Sombra Goats is a really strong option here. I mean, Sombra was really good on this before her health pack hacking got nerfed. But you know, she's still really overpowered that EMP. It is the best ultimate in the game. And XYS has used it pretty well, as he already gets seen out.
Tranquil sniffing him out with, I don't know if that was an intentional zap there, but well zapped XYS just a little bit. Still getting up a little bit in the ult charge, though, already up to 37% on the EMP.
Yeah, and yeah, 05 Heads is rotating on the point. And XYS is forcing Tranquil to go for him a little bit, forcing him outside. It did not lead to a pick from anyone else. And the rest of 7 sins. Oh, as the Reinhardt for 7 sins does get
trapped. The Tranquil in the back line is going to be focused down before, however. The focus not there for Rita Rabbit in that little cubby, and this should be the point going over to 05 Heads now. Tranquil being a little bit too aggressive is going to be bursted down on that more squishy Winston than the Reinhardt, and that's going to be a very quick point for 05 Heads when it feels like that 7 sins might have had that.
Yeah, Winston is only good if you're able to get someone out of position and take advantage of that. They did half of that, right? That's their win condition, and they did half of it. You can't quit 50% through like that. You see a Reinhardt out of position, call it out, get the rest of your team to stop shooting who they're shooting and kill that Reinhardt. Next you know it's a 5v6, and you can go ahead and take that fight when, you know, use that advantage to your advantage.
Now we're looking at a possible snowball here with XYS's EMP. Tranquil getting very low. Armor pack has to be used, and the healing is not quite there. Going to be staying on half health here. Soup Time looking to pressure out a little bit. The rest of 05 Heads not pushing Quinn quite a bit. Reader going for a very aggressive charge there. Isn't going to be able to pick anything off. Here is the EMP picking up 3. The Shatter not picking up anybody immediately there. 7 Sins living a little bit, but against the rally and the EMP is not going to have enough staying power here. The bomb will pick up Hobbs, but I don't think that's going to be quite enough from 7 Sins here. Pianist coming out with the trans, will have to use it to stall here, looking for maybe a pickup with that right click, but won't even be able to get the point to stall, and that's going to be a very quick round from 05 Heads.
Yeah, no one touched there. They had the ability to stall out a lot longer. If they had, you know, gone in with the trans instead of hoping to lose, he would be able to do it himself. Best opportunity to play it safe, not risky. And 7 Sins really did suffer there. But the choice to come out on the Winston for first point was probably a mistake, as Reinhardt is a lot stronger on first point than Winston, unless you can, you know, vote people out with the triple boop opportunity.
Once 05 Heads got onto point there with the Rhine comp, that becomes very difficult for the Winston comp to force them back off. They need to take advantage of them getting there, and 7 Sins did not do that.
Yeah, and without 6 people shooting that Reinhardt in the cubby, Scribble's armor pack, which was perfectly timed by the way, and great job to him, was able to save him just long enough to make it so he'd survive there. Now 7 Sins has to come back swinging. They don't necessarily have to, you know, get close to 05 Heads time, as 5 minutes and 47 seconds is a lot of time. They have to, you know, get in the ballpark, or at least above 2 minutes to be able to contest this. And it's all going to come down to, can they counter XYS with that EMP, as they're flashing quad DPS right now, which on this comp with a massive choke point, Soldier and Zenyatta is not going to be the best opportunity for them. This is going to be really hard to get by with a Zenyatta, a Sombra scouting, and you know, the other 4 players being able to play around each other.
And O5 Heads also playing to this is going to roll out on the Winston Ghost instead of the Ryan Ghost, so an even better matchup for them into this potential quad DPS coming out from Seven Sins.
Yeah, I feel like if Sevenson sees this happen, they're just going to go ahead and swap. It looks like that's exactly what they're doing. They're sending a Sombra to scout, doesn't see anything except for a D.Va, which, you know, gives you 0 information. But XYS has scouted them successfully, know that they're running quad DPS. And now, you know, they can see each other's comps. So the scouting was useless. They're going to go ahead and roll out with it. Now, what needs to happen is XYS has to hack something, and Rita Rabbit has to dive in. That's the power of Winston over Reinhardt with a Sombra, is the ability to dive in on these hacks and take advantage of it. But Tukey picks off Soup off the beginning. The Soldier looks like it's coming in handy.
The focus onto Tegu isn't going to quite be there as well. Diving onto them, the healing from Mercy and the Biotic Field is going to be able to keep him up. The Pharah damage now coming into Hobbs as well. That will be the D.Va going down. And now it's a 4v3. No, just the pickoff from Richie. That's fairly huge onto the Pharah. But I don't think it's going to be quite enough. Sombra hacked up here, trying to live long enough on their own health pack, is going to get that health there. Can they get them before the health pack comes up? No, XYS gets another health pack off of the hack, and that is going to be another 3 health, and that's the attack visor getting absolutely nothing. XYS just tanking everything while standing on that hacked health pack.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure they figured out how to, you know, kill a Sombra in 3 seconds, which, to be honest, should be a pretty easy thing to do, as she only has 200 HP and was pretty much standing still. Seven Sins had a perfectly good opportunity, because O5 Heads did exactly what they're not supposed to do against a quad DPS or a high DPS comp with Hammond, and that's split up. That's exactly what they did. That's how the Soldier got the 2 picks at the beginning, over in the back right side by the Zarya statue. But, you know, they're going to go in, hopefully with another one. It looks like O5 Heads figured out what they're doing wrong. As they do pick up the Pianist, but gets traded for Scribble and Hogs next.
However, that seems to be a little bit of an overextension from O5 Heads as the kills start going back in Seven Sins' favor. The Mercy going down without that res is going to mean that this is going to be very hard to clean up now, especially with the primaling Winston. But looks like Seven Sins is going to play this a little bit more slowly. They do have the respawn advantage, so looking to do something here. Richie being in a 1v1 right now with I love Tar, but not going to be able to clean that kill up, and it looks like the rest of O5 Heads will be able to get back here in time, but not before Soup Time gets picked off, and this will now be a 6v5 for Seven Sins to try and cap point A.
Yeah, Seven Sins have had an advantage consistently this time, with, you know, O5 Heads having a long spawn, and they have failed to use it every single time. It looks like this is a little bit brighter. As the Transcendence comes out and Soldier does have Visor to zone them off, and it did come in handy. They should have capped that point a lot faster, and right now they're already in the disadvantage. That should have been a 1-fight take, you know, capitalizing on O5 Head's mistake on splitting up against that comp. But that, you know, the lack of kill on that, you know, single Sombra in the Mega Room really suffered. And they're going to swap off to Ryan Goats here. Ryan Goats v Ryan Goats, except for, yep, nope, you're going to go ahead and swap to Zenyatta. So it's going to be a completely mirror comp. But O5 has the advantage as their Lucio's almost to his beat, and they can engage with Rally to at least win this fight.
Yeah, they should be able to just win. Should just be able to win this with the Rally here, and that is exactly what they're going to do. Pushing in very quick. Tranquil gets stunned up. CC'd, barely living, not for long though, and that will be the fight going over to O5 Heads just off of that Rally, getting everybody's ult charge back up as well.
Yeah, when you see a Rally like that, the best thing you can do is just back up, run away, right? Let it die. Don't let her give, you know, more than 30 seconds of stall time, which is all she gets now, because you know, that Rally armor only lasts for 30 seconds. Instead they, you know, try to contest a little bit, possibly get a pick, but, you know, armor pack, it's just like a Mercy hero, as I like to say. It's Mercy Bout on top of, you know, all of her other healing. Now they are going to engage a little closer to ult charge. I would expect another dry push here, trying to, you know, bait out, you know, the 2 ults that Seven Sins have, and they just baited out one. And but they're not backing up, which is a strange choice, as it looks like, you know, they're all going to die because they have a lot of health.
Not being able to get those reactions in time to back up as fast, maybe didn't have the boost off of cooldown going in, trying to get Reader Rabbit, as Reader did get very low, sub 100 HP, which did force the beat out, but not able to do part 2 of that plan and back out after forcing out the ult.
Yeah, it didn't look like they were even trying to back out there, which is extremely concerning for Seven Sins. As you know, backing out, does save time, but you know what else it saves? Ult charge. Seven Sins, they're coming up on 4 ultimates, but they're nowhere near this Graviton Surge. XYS has the Graviton Surge, and they were equal at the beginning of the swap, right? They had an opportunity to get advantage, and they choked it because they weren't able to back out. As the Grav Bomb comes in handy, as we just saw.
Grab Bomb does end up picking up 2 there. Rito Rabbit will go down in the end, but that definitely will just be a respawn and quick run back to the fight as Seven Sins are cleaned up here. Jangles going down, staggering a little bit, not being able to run away on the Brigitte, and finally going to have this grab up here from Tegu for this fight that they don't have a lot of follow-up to. They do have the Grab Bomb, and that's going to need to be absolutely massive if they're going to win this fight.
Yeah, and unlike in Hollywood, right, Tegu's coming in with his grab with high charge. He has that over 90% charge, and he can definitely use that to match XYS's, who has 0, right? He's coming off fresh. So they have an advantage right here, Seven Sins. They have to, figure out that they do and take advantage of it. And it looks like they're going to go ahead and, waste a shatter onto a shield, and the grab gets eaten. That's both of their tank ults just thrown away. At least they did get the trans out to force it out, but they're backing up, and Tranquil's, out of position. He looks to be picked off, or at least gonna get picked off.
Yep, that rally gonna clean up that fight for 05 Heads, and Seven Sins' win condition is probably not going to be back up again until an OT push here, which is not going to be good enough to win the series if this goes into OT.
Yeah, they have one choice right now, and that is to use all 5 of their ultimates to win a fight. If they get into overtime, this game is over. 5 minutes and 47 seconds is way too much time to contest. To not be able to contest an EMP, which is exactly what I expect 05 Heads to, take advantage of. And put XYS on that Sombra that he likes. That they're going to engage with the support ult. And the grab's going to come out and look
the
like...
grab here after the trans. Oh, that's everyone! That's actually everyone.
Yeah, normally when we say a 6-man bomb, it includes a D.Va mech, but ladies and gentlemen, that did not include a D.Va mech. That included the baby D.Va. I have not seen a sextuple kill in a long time, and that's wow. That's some hard flashbacks to when I played on a certain Rose League team.
Taking advantage of that early trans from Seven Sins, being able to force out. It's like, oh, I'll just take this grab and follow up with the bomb. Now needing to use the beat to try and get in through this choke point. Not gonna die through the beat. Well trade Ryans, but that will be favoring the defense here, as now XYS is extremely charged up and just going to charge through everyone right now. Onto OG Pianist, gonna try and pick up some more kills here, and that will be the map and the series going over to 05 Heads here as they take Volskaya 2-1. Tranquil nowhere near getting back to the point in time.
Yeah, I mean, the amount of times I saw a glimpse of hope from Seven Sins that game was the first half of their first offensive push, when they got that pick and found the mistake, just like they did in Lighthouse, but they weren't able to follow through on it this time. They looked a lot like 05 Heads did before, with not following up on advantages on fights. This is exactly what I said at halftime to Sly, and I've said before, is getting that advantage and using that advantage to win fights. And Seven Sins never did. They played pretty consistent that entire time, but that consistency is never good against a strong goods team like 05 Heads. You have to change things up. You have to know your win condition and take that win condition and run with it. Don't just walk up to it, say hi, and walk away scared like they have been. Getting a kill or two does not mean a win. Letting a Sombra 1v2 you on a health pack, on a mega health pack, where it takes 5 seconds to respawn is just unacceptable, and I expect more from Seven Sins, and I hope that they can bring something back this next map. They have the potential. I want to see Tranquil go in. I want to see the OG Pianist pop off on Zenyatta. I mean, he's been really strong. He's been the bright spot on this team. I think he can do this, and a 3-1 loss is not as bad as a 4-0. I want to see Seven Sins, get this map and get on the board to erase that goose egg.
Yeah, that it's a big difference between -4 and -2 in terms of map differential.
Yeah, it's literally half, and that's as much emphasis as you can put. Is you want to take out half of your map differential. That's a massive amount, and O5 Heads is going to go ahead and choose to start on defense on Rialto instead of attack, which is what I expected from the, Hollywood and Volskaya. Neither time they did that. But it does look like Sevenson's going to go ahead and attack first on Rialto, and I wonder if we will see a different comp, as you can run, different comps on this map. Pharah, again, is really strong on Rialto first. That spam damage is really strong against goats. Being able to displace people with the concussion blast is great. Now O5 Heads, I would expect nothing else from goats. It's worked for them so far. They need to stick with it and get this 4-0 to really put them fourth in the standings. They want to, go into playoffs with a really strong record and the ability to, intimidate people into giving them wins. And that's exactly what they're hoping for with this 4-0.
The 4-0 here would put them at a 5-0 record with a 17 map differential, putting them far and away from what would be second place after this match is Night Ops with only a 7 map differential. So that's looking like first place all but sealed up here.
Yeah, O5 Heads needs to come in swinging. They can't, step back their game this last map. They have to, continue fighting. They have to continue dominating like they have the entire match. They can't, they need to focus on, not winning or not giving up those, those Ilios lighthouses and win this thing straight. I know they, at this point they have to think, all right, if we, win this, we hold first point and we cap it, we get to go home and rest and then prepare for the next match so they can come out on top, get that number one seed for playoffs. Now Sevensons is the complete opposite. They need to win this to decrease the map differential and get them in a position where they're still at the top of the standings. That's their ideal position right now, and they have the ability to do it. They need to figure out what they're making mistakes of. Get those ultimates in check. They need to get those ultimates in check, or else Sevenson or O5 Heads is going to continue to take advantage of that and see those mistakes. OGPN needs to continue to do what he's doing as Zen, but just shot call a little bit more. I expect Sevensons to at least get 2 points, get close to third. Now Rialto third is probably the hardest point in the entire game to capture, if I would be honest. So
yes.
Yeah, to be honest, I feel like I can't think that. I just know it. It's a fact
that's also added on to the fact that really it's not even 0.3. Granted, 0.3 is very hard to cap, but 0.2 even that second corner is just absolutely brutal to get around with that high ground.
You give the defensive. There are teams in OWL who waste 3 ultimates preventing a fight there for a reason. That is the only time you will ever see that happen outside of a cart cart fight. So I want to see Sevensons come up swinging, utilize that high ground, grab these positioning advantages, know what their win condition is, as we've seen that they can do. And right now their win condition, if O5 Head starts running goats, is to displace Reader Rabbit, get him confused, and then go for someone in their mid or back line, or go for him himself. We've seen both, and both of them can work. We have seen a few swaps here.
Yep, seen a few swaps out here from either team. Cat coming in for Sevenson, and Eagles coming in for Soup Time as well on O5 Heads.
Yeah. So, expect goats, but if not, Cat Dad, I believe, is a support player. Am I wrong about that?
Cat Dad was the Lucio, yes.
Yeah. Okay. And I know Eagles is a flex support player. So to replace Sloth, that is. So yeah. Looks like both teams are ready, and we're gonna go ahead and hop in. Expect goats v goats. I feel like Sevensons should bring out that Pharah, possibly that Genji. Ana, Genji. Dragonblade is really strong. If they want to opt for the Sombra, go for it. But they need to swap something up here. What they've been trying is not working. Last map, we just proved that, swapping to that high DPS comp without, a plan of attack is not a good idea. You don't need much practice to decide who you're going to start shooting at and win. That comes down to one person calling that out. They need to realize that and really take advantage of their opportunity to win this map and make it only a -2 map differential instead of a -4.
Well, let's see what each, at least what O5 Heads is going to defend here with in the couple of seconds here. Expect nothing else but the Reinhardt goats, and indeed it will be.
Yeah, it does look like we're gonna, sadly, it looks like we're gonna see Reingoats and Reingoats, except 7sense is opting to, you know, look on this Lovertur Sombra, which we haven't seen much of, and XYS is gonna stick with the Zarya, so he's not gonna run Sombra, it's gonna be straight 3-3. No, Lovertur does go Sombra here. That could show a different approach from 7sense. It's not the most ideal, but what you can do here is run strictly around that EMP. Don't expect to win fights without it, but make sure you win fights with it. Go try and contest. There's enough time where you can do this. But you know, he has to be really optimistic about this working, and really, you know, analytical and organized if he wants to get these EMPs fast and quickly, as he is going to flank left, hopefully to get a little bit of ult charge before the hard engages. They should just push point a little bit far to the corner.
Yep, and then we look in turn for O5 Heads to engage when the Sombra is trying to flank around, but it looks like they will just be giving space here for the moment. Richie, a little aggressive landing on cart there, will not be CC'd and taken out, however, though. Hobbs getting a little bit low here from Iluvatar, getting quite a bit of EMP charge there as well, and now the brawl begins on point here at this corner.
Yeah, they started Iluvatar translocate out and knew he wouldn't be there for the fight, and that's just a mistake from 7sense. I mean, losing that Sombra, that was a 5v6 right there, right? O5 Heads knew that, took advantage of it. So right now, Lovertar has to decide: does he want to go for, you know, strict EMP fight? If so, this is the opportunity. But it looked like for a second that he was going for a hack to hack the fight, right? You hack the Reinhardt, you go in, knowing he doesn't have shield, so you do more damage. But he has to take high ground, and this time he's taking high ground. Last time he was on low ground, which is big step, which has the ability to, you know,
that's a large shatter though, picking off Rito Rabbit, and if they do slowly go in here, they will be able to win. However, Tranquil getting picked off, trying to be a little bit aggressive, taking advantage of that, and the rally will be forced out here to try and keep this going in 7sen's favor, and they will demech the D.Va before Hobbs is able to run away. The Zen goes down as well, and it looks like they will be able to somewhat keep this fight going. However, we do have a stall from the Baby D.Va on card. Oh, no.
That Baby D.Va stall was way too long. It should have been a lot shorter, but that fight is exactly what they wanted to do the first fight, right? Put the Sombra in position to hack the Reinhardt and engage with it. First fight they wouldn't use Shattered, obviously, since they wouldn't have had it, but luckily for them they had it. Now they have EMP. Looks like they're gonna run that, except it doesn't get Eagles. Without getting the Zenyatta, the EMP is pretty much remaining useless. The Transcendence is really overpowered ultimate to save these fights.
Well, the opposing grab isn't going to pick up anything right now either, but the rally from O5 Heads might be able to turn this in their favor, but no, it doesn't, as they do pick off the Brigitte into the big shatter from Tranquil, and that's two huge shatters already on point A, and that will be a fairly quick point A on Rialto, all things considered.
Yeah, to be completely honest, I would not be that mad about that fight if I was O5 Heads. They got both Eagles and Richie to use their ultimates, as Richie did pop that, Cat Dad and Pianist used their ultimates. I was looking at the wrong team, that fight. So knowing that they don't have any support ultimates, they can go into this next fight with a Shatter and an Eagles Transcendence that can be unchallenged. If Tengu does, intend to grab, as they're not taking high ground on this corner, which is
they were on high ground,
position.
dropped off, but were not able to pick up their target of Tranquil. I am very shocked that Tranquil did not die there after O5 Heads dropped on him, and that is after giving up that high ground, able to survive that initial onslaught. 7sen is going to pick up that fight and have a very good chance to just steamroll through second.
Yeah, and passing that makes it a lot easier for them to cap this point. I mean, you got this panic attack now, but now Pianist and Cat Dad had support ultimates.
CC into the Shatter will be able to pick off Jangles, but however, the grab coming in is going to swing that fight back into 7sen's favor, and that will be the very quick point 2 with over 4 minutes left to fully cap this match.
Yeah, they gotta at least keep XYS alive for this, as the Zarya charge is extremely important for them, as it is their opportunity to recontest. And Lovertur has shown that he can play the Sombra really well. I wouldn't be surprised if XYS opts to play it on attack to show him you know, that he might be better. But right now, I'm surprised Larvitar hasn't played Sombra before, as he just gets picked off by Eagles. The caster curse striking again from me. I gotta stop talking about plays that might happen.
Tranquil throwing out that shatter there at the end, trying to be the hero, but the fight was definitely already lost by that point. And now the ult economy has fizzled out for Seven Sins, and O5 Heads is looking to make a very strong hold here.
Yeah, right now Seven Sins just got to get that that EMP, but this time, you know, Tranquil doesn't have shatter, as he you know, kind of threw it away that last fight. They had an opportunity to get an EMP shatter out, but sadly that's not going to happen. So right now they just got to focus on getting that EMP and trying to, you know, force out as many ultimates as possible. But when he EMPs, his team needs to make sure that he gets Eagles and Richie, or else those support ultimates are going to prevent them from winning the fight, as this just should be a cleanup, as Rally is the only ultimate used to prevent anyone from dying. And Tranquil gets picked off at the end, a little bit staggered.
Rally once again winning a fight by itself for O5 Heads. That's not the first time that has happened this series. Seven Cents not being quick enough on the retreat.
Yeah, I mean, O5 Heads have used that successfully the entire series, as you just said. Knowing that they don't have any ultimates and just, you know, forcing that Rally to, you know, give up more time, right? The time is on their side right now, so they want to be friends with it. Now, Larvitar does have EMP right now. Eagles and Richie have to
pretty
figure
caught
out,
out right there.
Ooh.
Translocator was in a horrible place to try to get out there. Got caught out, translocated maybe 5 meters away, and that is going to be a fight win for O5 Heads that they probably should not have had that easily.
Yep, and that's even more time off the clock, right? Like I said, this is the hardest map. This third point is the hardest point to capture, and you need as much time as possible to do that. And right now, if once he uses EMP, I don't necessarily know if you'll have time to get another.
They do have a full 6 ults to cap this, however, and that is going to be an EMP immediately blowing up. Rita Rabbit taking this fight a little bit slowly. They should be able to clean this up, maybe focusing down the Brig now. The Rally is going to try to keep O5 Heads up as well, along with the Beat as well, really committing to this. However, Hobbs gets DMAC'd very quickly. The Grav coming in is going to clean up the rest of this fight for O5 Heads, but do they have enough to finish out the map? That is the question.
Oh, I definitely think they do. XYX is the only one. XYX and Rabbit are the only two with ultimates, and they have a Transcendence, and they're coming up on a Shatter themselves, right? If Tranquil can get one of the two people with ultimate, if they get the Rein or the Zarya with the Shatter, they are looking good. Pianist has to save his ultimate and get in far back of his team, as he just did, but the late trans kills Jangles. It's a 5v6 right now. This is beautiful for Seven Sins.
Yeah, but it does look like they will be able to clean that fight up off of the late trans. The pin only picking up the Reinhardt out of the trans doesn't even matter, as that Brigitte Giddo down very quickly. And now we are into one fight territory for Seven Sins, and they've got to walk all the way back to the cart somehow.
Yeah, and Jingo's getting killed 2 times that round. Really put the knife, really shot themselves in the foot, as that's even more time off the clock. As it does appear, my casting buddy has left the game. Probably a disconnect. Sly, are you there by any chance?
That's just a disconnect. You got it.
All right. So yeah. So it looks like Seven Sins is gonna probably hold this, as he just got completely murdered by the EMP. But Eagles is there with the Transcendence. I don't think Larvitar has hit Eagles one time with the Transcendence this entire fight, but it didn't matter. The Transcendence was not enough to save him. Now they're just on point. They were able to clean up Seven Sins with the grab, make sure that they can cap this third point. It will be an overtime. The hack on the Lucio makes sure they can get it without stall. The Mei wasn't there in time to stall out to possibly get the Reinhardt back to get a charge, as O5 Heads or Seven Sins just took all 3 points on Rialto, which is quite rare. It was an overtime though, as but this is an assault map where time doesn't necessarily matter, or not an assault map, an escort map, where time bank doesn't matter as much as others, as overtime is pretty much always what you're gonna hit. You know, when you have, you know, under 3 minutes, or under 2 minutes, I should say, of time bank left. Now, I was really impressed by Seven Sins that round. Larvitar Sombra came out. I think it caught O5 Heads off guard, and definitely showed. His EMPs were strong, except for the fact that he didn't necessarily get the Transcendences out. But getting that Transcendence out allowed his Zarya to grab without, you know, any Barther, really, as Sound Barrier is not as good as a counter as Transcendence is. But it looks like we're going to see the defensive side without the Sombra. They're going to run Reinhardt, Zarya, and D.Va on the regular 3-3 goats, as 05 Heads is, you know, it's showing that they're going to run Baptiste and Doomfist, but I'm willing to put any amount of money on the fact that they're not going to come out with Doomfist, as this is not a good map for him. If they were going to come out with Doomfist, it would have been on, you know, probably Ilios, where, you know, you have at least walls, but here, definitely not. It does look like they're going to come out with Sombra, though, as I expected and said before. XYS is going to be on that Sombra that he's been playing the entire game, and it does look, it looks strong for them before, as it has worked, as he is getting scared by Jangles in the corner. The rest of the team is, you know, prepared to fight on the first corner. Richie picks off Catdad. The little Lucio v Lucio just happened. It was won by 05 Heads. So Forces 7 sends back away from cart, but everyone on 05 Heads has just left the cart. There is no one pushing the cart right now, so this fight does not matter as much as it could have. The cart's not moving. Now it just started, but right now they have the opportunity to recontest with 6 people. If that cart was moving the entire time, they would be close enough where they would have had to contest a little bit more frantically. And they were able to get pick off with Larvitar. Rita Rabbit goes ahead and kills the 7 Sins D.Va player before he can remech. And, you know, the cart is coming back slowly. This will be a frantic contest, as, you know, they've gotten to the point where, you know, they have to touch, do or die. They don't have many ults except for the Transcendence, which he did shatter, so he doesn't have the opportunity to hit the trans. And now they're just going to get cleaned up. Larvitar has to jump in the pond, die, and 7 Sins has the ability to take position to the point where, you know, they can bypass the entire corner that we have talked up. This, you know, being able to push up like that is massive, and fight 7 Sins, you know, before they can, you know, take that high ground. It looks like that's what we're going to do. They're going to force him off the high ground, except for the Brig, who's the only one who's popped off on high ground, which is very interesting, as the rest of the team is taking on low ground. So susceptible for that Sombra. The Sombra's also on low ground. Now they're getting engaged with the Transcendence here from the OG Pianist, which, you know, gives up a free Zarya Graviton Surge for Hobbs, which doesn't get anything, obviously. Now Tranquil is going to go ahead and die at the end, but it looks like that 7 Sins is going to go ahead and hold this with the ability to hold on bridge, which is a massive choke point, as it's the only way you can get across unless you have a massive movement ability. But, you know, no one on Goats has that except for Lucio, and I guarantee he's not going to do that because he'd be getting caught off guard.
They are not going to have their Reinhardt for the time being, so they are going to have to give up that bridge advantage you just talked up as 05 Heads all get back across, but they are still going to hold on the low ground on this corner.
Yeah, the EMP comes in, though.
EMP,
it doesn't get the
is
Lucio.
there on the EMP. Tranquil living, not going to be able to live long enough, will end up going down in the end. Will this bomb be able to pick anything up? It does pick up the Sombra, however, but the Grav coming in is going to start cleaning this up for 05 Heads here as they get around this corner on Rialto, and 7 Sins might be able to get a recontest here. Maybe.
Yeah, the Grav was just a cherry on top there. That was a pretty one fight. And this should be an easy cap, as if they are going to contest, it's going to be without their Brig for a little bit, as she's pretty far. So they do have to use the Transcendence to contest. Like I've said before, using these Transcendence to get an opening fight is not that strong, because, you know, you're not in a positioning advantage, but it did work.
However, if the Reinhardt gets separated, you will be able to slowly pull this fight back. Iluvatar almost getting demeched is going to be able to live at the very end, and the rally is going to be able to keep 7 Sins alive on this cart here. Rita Rabbit getting a little bit separated, and Eagles not able to get there in time with the trans.
Yeah, the Transcendence was a little bit late from Eagles, and it cost him the fight. Rita Rabbit did die to Tranquil there. But right now, I mean, 7 Sins has 2 ultimates coming up. They got Grav and they got Beat. So.
Oh no!
But you know,
no, don't let it happen! Don't let it happen! No! Oh my gosh!
0.51 seconds left, and XYS almost had the back cap. That would have been a great way to cap point B and freak them out. Now they are going to grab the back line here, which is massive. They have the ability to take this, but the beat comes in just in time to get Tranquil pinned.
Each Reinhardt trying to pick up a kill there, be the hero, but neither will be the hero. However, XYS is going to be going down as the kill that will turn this into Seven Sins' favor in a very silly fight, as both Reinhardts just charged straight into either enemy team's backline.
Yeah, I mean, Seven Sins looking really strong right now. XYS does have an EMP, though. They don't have EMP Shatter, but they have EMP Grab. But when he EMPs, he has to pick up that OG Pianist. He has that Transcendence, and he knows that he can counter that EMP. Where? Yeah, see, he's all the way in the back.
OG playing way
Sombra
back,
doesn't know
knowing
he's there.
what's happening.
He just EMP'd, and there he is, Transcendence.
Well, will there be enough damage through the trans? Doesn't look like the focus fire will be there. The shatter into the bomb is just going to pick up Rita Rabbit with that no bomb necessary. OG Pianist going down to Eagles, however, and Tranquil getting really low here. Will need to take him up to be able to win this fight in the end. Hobbs picking them up, and now it's just a matter of the Zarya v Zarya who can deal out the more damage in the focus. iLovitar getting damaged out of mech, and it looks like they will be falling back here a little bit, just long enough for Rita Rabbit to re-engage here. XYS discorded, not able to be picked off, and this is now a 6v6 again. Never mind, Jangle's getting picked off.
Yeah, they're going to recontest. They're without the Zarya, so they're looking this for the 5v6 right now. And now they do have a Sombra, an XYS, who has the ability to get a hack, but doesn't, as he's forced to use Translocate. Now Hobbs is back, but Jangles is not.
Egu with his high ground grab.
So if they realize this, they can engage, and they do.
XYS getting picked off by OG Pianist, evening the score here. Rita Rabbit getting focused down as well, and this looks like that Seven Sins will be able to hold on point B here, as there is only 10 seconds left, and basically no one left to contest for 05 heads.
Yeah, Lucian's gonna go ahead and touch real quick. But
he's
die
gonna get
very
that
quickly, as I don't even think he's gonna. Nah, he's gonna get overtime.
And XYS stunned up and killed Rita Rabbit, shattered, and that will be the map going over to Seven Sins to make it a 3-1 victory only.
Yeah, that was a huge win for Seven Sins, preventing that 4-0, keeping them in a strong race to the top. Hoping that 05 Heads loses a future match and they can come back and beat them in the playoffs. If I was Seven Sins, I'd be really happy right now. You know, coming out with that -2 instead of that -4 is massive. We really talked that up earlier. Now, the big thing that I would like to point out from that match was the great Sombra play by Lovitar. Coming out very unpredicted, as he didn't run it much, if at all, earlier in the match. And really caught Seven Sins off guard, and they didn't really know what to do the entire time. They're planning the Transcendences, and they were getting them, but it wasn't really working, as they forgot about the rest of the threats on the team. The Sombra didn't do much herself, but it provided as much of a threat as she needed for the rest of her team to come in without having to worry about that Transcendence, and utilizing the high mobility against what they could use a Graviton or a Shatter. And it came out to a victory. They scored 3 points on Rialto, which is rare, and was able to hold most of the time on that corner. Not a traditional way to hold the corner, as they were on low ground, I'm pretty sure, over half the time. But, they held the corner. That's all they needed to do.
Yep, that Sombra causing maybe not a huge amount of in-game disruption, but a lot of mental disruption on 05 Heads there. And Seven Sins coming out with a big moral victory there, showing that they can beat 05 Heads and take maps off of them. Huge going into playoffs, where a rematch could very well be likely.
Yeah, I am very proud of both teams for doing this, for performing like this, and this well. Consistently. It was a really strong match by both of them. I think Seven Sins comes out afterwards, with a glimpse of hope, and 05 Heads could rest easy knowing that they've pulled off a victory and have gone 5-0, I believe, right?
Yep, they are 5-0 now.
5-0.
Reversing their team title.
Yep. So it looks good going into playoffs for them, for both teams. And I look forward to seeing more from each of them. I would expect Seven Sins to maybe try different comps, or at least put Larvitar on that Sombra more, as it showed that it was definitely the right pick on that Rialto. But Yeah, that'll be the broadcast. Sly, if you want to plug anything.
You can really just find me on Twitter at Luigi_Sly, and make sure to join the Discord for Overwatch Pretenders as well, and Strider.
You can find my Twitch at OW Strider. Strider as in STRIDER. Lord of the Rings, if you understand that. I'm gonna start streaming a lot more. I'll play more. But most of my streams will include VOD reviews and coaching, as that is my primary role in the Overwatch community. Go ahead and follow the Overwatch Pretender stream, as most, if not, most games are streamed for the Overwatch Pretenders tournament, and join the Discord server. Link should be in the description.
All right, we'll see you guys again. Take care, everyone.
Yeah, thanks for
And
tuning in.
later.